Welcome to the tutorial 2 of Python for data analysis. In this video, I'm gonna show you the basically how to use Git for managing your project and all the code files and how to document it. So it's very important to do this in order to showcase your work to the world, as it's like a second resume for developers, and you need to manage that very carefully, and you need to basically maintain a repo, and we're gonna go over all the basics of this. So let's go over that. And as you can see, I have my account set up. You can set up at github.com. My repositories are these, so you can check me out on github.com/tanet27. Then you can go to the new repository, so it will ask the repository name. So I'll tell test git. So yeah, so test git, and then description is optional basically, so you can put anything over here. Initialize this repository with readme. So this is another important thing. You can add a license. It's an open source license basically, so MIT license. You can read all of the terms and conditions over here, and then I'll go on creating new one. So now I have the license and the readme files here, and just the basic name and the description what we entered. Then there's an option called clone or download. So there are basically two options you can access Git. One is through the terminal or command prompt, and another is the GitHub Desktop version. I'll show you both. So let's check out the terminal first. Then we have this link. I'll control C or command C. So right now I'm at the desktop, and I'll create a new folder. Make dir git. Then you can see the git is added over there, and I'll change my directory to git, and then I'll write this command git clone, and then the address what we copied, then press enter. So you can see that cloning into test git. So it's been done because there's no file. It might take some time if you clone like big files like open source projects like TensorFlow or Keras, Cafe2, MXNet. So this is like there was nothing in that repository. That's why it just took like 1 second, not even 1 second. And then if now I press list, then it will state this folder. Basically, this is our repository, and if we go into this, so you can see license and readme what we made. So it's now here. Now there are a couple of commands you need to remember. Once you remember them, it's so easy to operate with Git. So one of the main commands, so I'll go on creating a .py file for the sake of this series because it's Python for data analysis. So I'll just create a simple file. Test.py. So now you can see there is a test.py here. Echoes the command, you can use that, anything else. And then you can, so if you want to now commit these changes to your repository, you need to do git add and then a full stop. Basically this is for like full stop represents that you have to add every changes that has been made in the repository, and if you want to make a commit for a particular file, then you need to add only that file basically. And then I'll press enter, and then I'll git commit, and then -m, and then you have to name that change basically. So anything you can put. I'll put changes 101 and then full stop and then enter. So now the file has been committed. Now I'll tell git to push that file to my repository, git push. So now it has been pushed to my git My computer is already authenticated for GitHub. So when you'll run your session, it will ask you after this step, it will after git push, basically it will ask you your username and password. Just type it and hit enter, and you have to never like type it again. Then if I'll go in this repository now and refresh it, so you can see now there's test.py here, print hello world. And so this is like the basic functioning. And what is this master basically? So master is a branch. Master branch is like any other branches. It's like main files what you need for your project. And then if you want to use those files into separate things, like if you are cloning TensorFlow and you're using TensorFlow for various other projects, so what you can do is instead of cloning it every time, or instead of putting every file in every other folder, you can make branches in Git. So I'll tell you how to do that. There is one command called git and then branch. And right now we want to access the what all our branches are there already in our git repository. So I'll git branch and then a. You can see that there is only a master repository, master branch, sorry. And then if we want to create a new branch, suppose testing git, so I'll state that git branch, the command for that is git branch, the name, so anything testing. So I'll hit enter, and now if I'll go on and see what are the branches, then you can see that there is a branch called testing. And we have that. So if we want to enter that branch basically, so we'll go with git check out and git checkout and then name of the branch, so testing. So switch to branch testing, and then I'll add another Python file just for the sake of to demonstrate how this thing works, the branch thing. So print and then testing. Branch dot py. I'll hit enter. Then I'll do the same thing what we did earlier. So git add, git commit, and the name of the change branch dot add, and then git push. So now, oh sorry, you have, so remember this one thing. So whenever if you change the branch from master to the one you have created, you have to always use set upstream, so that you can, so I'll show you how to do that basically. Git push and then set upstream, and then origin is basically, origin can be master and testing. So we have two branches, so we have to state what branch we are using, origin, testing. So set upstream, yeah. So now I think we are good, yeah. So you can see that now we'll go into our repository and then refresh it once. So now you can see that here there are two branches, testing what we created. So in this you can find branch.py but not in master. So if I go in master, you can't find branch.py. So if you want, so this is like a separate project. If you want to use, suppose test.py in other project, so you can add a branch and then commit your changes or commit your code files into that. So that's really helpful sometimes. So now I'll show you how to do it, the same thing with the GitHub Desktop version. That's also much more useful. Let me. So I have this installed. You can download this from the github.com. So I'll just search github.com desktop. So there is this GitHub Desktop. You can download this for Mac, Windows, Linux, and then if I want to open it, so if I go here, so there are like two, oh sorry, yeah, so if I go into the master branch, there are two clones. So one is, there are two options, so clone and download. So, and there's one option here, open in desktop. So I'll click this one, and this will take you to the GitHub Desktop version. So now I'll say okay, clone. Yeah, so now it's been cloned. Now if I make any changes to this repository, it will automatically detect that okay, there's been changes. So for example, oh, by the way, this directory, the default has been set to desktop. So this our repository that has been cloned is here, not in that folder. So now if I go into test.py, and if I suppose I change the wording, and I'll hit save, then you can see it automatically detect, as soon as I saved it automatically detected that okay, I deleted this line and I added this line, so it accounts for all the changes. So that's why it's very helpful actually. So if I have to make changes, so you have to type some summary. So changes desktop, so, and description is optional, so if you want to do that, and then you have to select this file, and if you don't want to select this file, you should simply uncheck and select only the ones you want to push, because there are some times when you have those big files, those big data files, and you don't want to add them to GitHub. Yeah, so you have to check, like you have to take them separately, and then you commit to master, then you have this push origin, then you have to click on here. So now pushing to origin. Yeah, so now if we go here, and then so changes desktop we committed, and then if I go in, so here is the file make changes 101. So this is basically like how you can maintain the project files using GitHub Desktop or GitHub Client. Client is also very useful if you remember the command, but even if you don't, then the desktop version is very useful. You can also make changes to the branches as well. So here's the current branch, that is master. I can switch it to testing, and if I go now into the testing version, so there's branch.py, and then testing desktop, I made some changes to this, then I saved. So now it accounted for this as well in the testing branch, and then I'll say okay, testing desktop, and I'll commit to testing, I'll push it to origin. So now after this it will be changed here as well. So now if you go in the branches text here, yeah, so now in the branch.py, you see the changes has been made, and basically the names what we give, they come here, that this was the initial commit, it was by default, and these are the names, basically changes 101 testing desktop whenever we give the commit. So these are mandatory, so that you can keep a track record of your project according to your dictionary. So yeah, this was the basic demonstration of the GitHub and Git client. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, tanay.ai, and my Instagram page, let.machine.talk.